This week, I continued applying construction to animals with Drawbox Lesson 5. I started watching the video demo of the wolf. I had already drawn the wolf last week, just following the instructions from the Drawbox page, and I actually like the previous one better, but it was useful to watch the video to get the comments and reinforce the steps. I also did this tiger's face, and it took me quite a while to go through the demos. This page was 40 minutes, but I wasn't equally consistent in timing my efforts this week. For the otter drawing, I attempted to draw it before seeing the video. I put a 10-minute timer, but ended up using only 7 minutes to draw it. I did not like the face of this one, so when I followed the demo, I made sure to take notes on the face and try to improve on it a bit. I continued following the demos, horse, cheetah, and I followed all of the demos in the Drawbox page and tried to make sure I was getting the principles. I got to the donkey, and this was supposed to be a puma, but again, I feel like the face looks more like the one of a bear, so this is something I will pay attention to when I get to my own animal references, which is something I didn't get to do this week because I also wanted to get some progress with the more architectural stuff with Rapid Viz. I had gotten to this page where there is a top, side, and front view of this building and the beginnings of it, and we're supposed to transpose the details to this house that had already been started, and also to draw a view from another side of the building and one from the top. So from this one we had to transpose a few details, and including those unequal breaks in the roof, which I had learned how to do with Marshall Vandruff's lectures on Perspective 1, but I hadn't practiced working with and had frankly mostly forgotten when I got to this problem here. So I decided to watch the final lectures again and this time take good notes and practice with these exercises so I would consolidate the learning. The beginning of the depth measure systems, this part of dividing or expanding is a cube, I had actually practiced quite a bit with Rapid Viz, so those were clear to me. This part of the diagonal converging to a point above the horizon line, the Vanishing Trace, was also something I had seen in Rapid Viz and worked a little bit, but I hadn't learned the application for this. For example, in the case of putting in perspective fences, considering both the thickness and the spaces in between of the pickets, but which was something that was presented in the lectures of Marshall Vandruff. So this was a good use for the exercise here, but when I did it, I got to fewer breaks than the one shown in the side view. I marked the 11 ones I got in red. When I transposed the 16 ones from the side view, of course I got 16 of them, but the two methods should have yielded the same results. So there was some inconsistency in the drawing of the book or in my tracing version of it. But in any way, doing the exercise after following the lecture and taking the notes was great. I feel like I really learned a lot. I also worked out the other views from top and from the other side of the house. This for me was very time consuming and hard to do, but trying different methods to solve the same problem was helpful for me to consolidate the knowledge. RapidViz also had some steps for drawing an interior space, which I used to then create this small dining room. There was also a tip for tilting this into a 2-point perspective to make it more interesting, which I agree, but I didn't practice because I moved on to the next exercise, which I haven't finished. It brought me immense frustration, actually. This book sometimes seems to go through enormous leaps. So here they had this example of transposing an image with a grid, but we don't make it 3D, we just have a flat image. And then the next thing is to draw this building for which we have the top view and the side view and the grid on the floor. So I created the grids for the views on the top and try to transpose it as they recommend, just using tracing paper on top of the grid on the floor. But I got lost in my lines and couldn't find where the chimney was after I had drawn the walls or whatever. So I had to start over, and I decided to first transpose the flat plane in color to the grid so I can see what I have to build from. And then I later started building the walls to make it 3D, but I haven't got far with it. I got frustrated, as I said. So let's see. I hope I can finish this by next week if I don't give up. The next part of the book is about putting other things in boxes, which seems to be somewhat similar to what's coming also with Drawbox Lesson 6 for next week. But before that, I still have to practice some more animals and see if I finish this building here. So this is it for now. I hope to see you next week for more perspective challenge. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.